Hello, I'm Alicia. I'm with Level Up Score. I'm the founder of Level Up Score. And today we're doing a spotlight on a friend of mine named Donna, Dr. Donna Prudhomme.
Yeah.
And Donna, I'm very excited to have you here. She's a former high school principal. So you got a lot of extension of education under your belt for sure.
Yes, I do.
And you consult high achieving women. Guys, this is really, really cool because I don't know anybody else doing this, but she consults high achieving women to help them build wealth through real estate.
That's correct.
And I have a story myself about that, Donna, of how I built my empire through real estate. So I wish I had someone like you that I could have leaned on and supported me through that because I did it without knowing what was best to do. Luckily, I got lucky.
Luck always wins.
Luck is great, but it's nice to have someone who can take you through the journey where you don't have to worry about so much luck happening to you. But we love that you're here. You do have 2 grown children too,
I do.
and a baby fur. Is it a baby fur baby? Or
Yes. We call him our fur baby. He's a boy, a little miniature schnauzer. So he's a part of the family. He's actually at the door trying to get in here, but I'm like, you have to wait. So he's trying. Your mom. Yes. Yes.
There's one more thing I want to say about you, and that is your birthday's tomorrow. So
City.
audience, if you can do Donna a really cool favor and in the comments, just say happy birthday. So happy early birthday, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit more about you and what you're doing?
Yes, so I have been in education for public education for almost 30 years now, and just kind of worked my way all the way up right here, eligible to retire, but just trying to see what's next? What am I going to shift to? And I feel like when you get to that point in life, it's not like you're starting over. I feel like it's just an extension of what you've already done and what you've already accomplished. And for me, I don't know about anyone else. I just know that I want to do something different. And then when I started thinking about those next steps and praying like, God, what do I do next? And I've always loved real estate. Always loved real estate. My younger sister, who passed away in 2020, always wanted to be a general contractor. She would have realtors calling the home asking for my mom, and she's like 10, 12, like, you can buy a house, but she always loved real estate. And when she was in one of her real estate courses in Georgia, she received a phone call with devastating diagnosis. And once she passed, I just made it my mission to continue her legacy. So I started taking real estate classes, became a realtor. My husband is a general contractor. We built a few real estate investment properties. And then that was really just my light bulb moment, just to continue her legacy and continue building generational wealth for my family. And now I want to teach others, how to do that. But it all starts with having good credit. So it all ties in together. And that's really where I am. It's for high achieving women who want to do something, but they just don't know what it is. And so I'm like, well, if you want to build wealth and make sure that your retirement is where it needs to be, where you can comfortably retire, real estate is the way to go. Yeah.
Yes. And, my story, but I can honestly say, and a lot of people on our audience here knows my story, but buying my first home was the thing that helped me propel to be a millionaire, because it gave me an opportunity of a lot of cash flow that I would not have had otherwise. I sold a home, made a lot of money, bought a bigger home, did some fix up, sold that, made a lot of money, bought another home and 2 gyms that I serviced. And all of that was where I honestly became a millionaire. And I don't know really any other way, unless you come from money or you get gifted money or, something of that nature, that you can come up with a lot of money in a short period of time other than in real estate.
Right. Or you have, like you said, or you have the right access to money. So which leads into another venture that I'm in. I wear many hats. I'm also a hard money broker. So we have access to funding for people who want to invest in real estate, but they really don't want to go the traditional route. And so that's important to note as well, because you can get access to funding a lot quicker. You don't have to have all of the requirements that traditional banks say that you have to have. And that's really an avenue for you to, fix and flip and get in and out of properties a lot quicker, because you can get access to that funding with less requirements. So that's an option as well. And that's actually what my husband and I are wanting to do next, is build a duplex. And then we're going to, kind of look at, the hard money lending and go that route this time versus the traditional funding. And so we really didn't know much about it at the time. And once I started learning more about it, I'm like, wow, this, to me, I feel like this is an avenue for a woman, a high achieving woman who's ready to retire, but who, possibly can't afford to retire, but they just want to do something different. This would be an avenue for them. And so, but it all starts with making sure that you have an approval ready credit profile where you'd be able to get access to that funding. So that's pretty much, where I got this niche from,
Well, you mentioned that you're wearing a lot of hats, but the way that I see that, Donna, is that you have a niche that you're working on. You have a certain demographic that you're working with, that you're helping, and what you've done. And I hope and pray that all of our audience does this too. When you have that, you need to be specialized in everything you can that takes them through that journey to get where they want to go. So if my program says, you're going to come to me and you're going to build wealth through real estate, I need to have all the hats that are needed, or have the resources available that are needed to take them through that journey, right? And that's what you've done. And a lot of people don't do that, Donna.
Yes.
A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, I felt like whatever my next steps would be once I do retire, it had to be something that I've lived through that I can help other women, because I know plenty of women, plenty of coworkers who want to retire, but they cannot afford to retire. And if you set yourself up, the right way with your next steps, you really can. You really can build wealth through real estate. And at the end of the day, I don't want women to feel like I should have invested sooner, when I was younger, or I should have done this, or I should have chosen another, career field, whether you are in school administration, a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever, your career is. It doesn't matter what you did in the past, is what you do with your next steps. What are you going to do to get to where you want to be once you retire and start over? Like, we're about to, be, empty nesters. My son is a mechanical engineer major. He's about to graduate. My daughter is in college in business. But what we wanted to do was make the construction business a family business. So my daughter's doing business and marketing, so she'll be helping us with the marketing. My son is, like I said, a mechanical engineer. He'll be doing the plans. Hubby is construction. I'm the realtor. So it's really just like doing all the things, but making sure that we are building generational wealth for them. And I feel like that's really the ultimate goal, like with you, like what you said you did. And what woman would not want that for her family? And so I figured, if I truly tap in and niche down to that high achieving woman, the woman who makes the six figures like me, but who wants more, then I know that I'm doing the will of God for my next steps.
I love that. I think what I heard from that too is that it's okay if you don't have the retirement. It's okay if you haven't started. It's not too late, that you have a model to help get them there, no matter where they're at in their life, that you can get them there.
Yeah. And you don't have to feel trapped, and that's really the thing, is like, I've seen people, and you come from education, you were a teacher.
Yes, I
and we don't make much, in education.
You know what I made? $17,000 a year. That's what I made.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember starting in 1997, and I was at the federal prison, and I was like, what? That's my salary? What am I doing? But I knew I wanted the time off with my kids, because I had just got married, and I said, oh no, I have to do this, but I need to work my way up, is what I did. I even have a superintendent certification, but I just don't have that desire anymore. Yeah. I just want to do something different. And it's okay to be at that point, to say, look, I've done this for almost 30 years. It's time to put on a different hat, and I just know that when you are able to buy your first home, or buy, whether it's your first, second, third home, like you, I mean, that's like a sense of accomplishment, because that's really the largest purchase that we'll ever make in our lifetimes. It's real estate. And if you research other millionaires, that's how they became millionaires. It's through real estate. That's the key. And I just feel like it's not enough information out there for people to know. In my school district, I actually started one of the first real estate programs to teach children about real estate because it's not in our curriculum, which leads to my nonprofit business, which is Credit Education School, where I teach college and high school girls about credit so they can learn the things that we were not taught in school. And I feel like the system is designed for us not to know, so they can charge all these high interest rates, right? And feel like, get us trapped. But that's not how it should be. They should know about real estate. They should know about credit. They should know all of these things before they walk across the stage and graduate. But it's not being taught. I think eventually we're getting there. So my goal is to educate not only high school girls, college girls, also women. I have DIY courses about credit and how you can build that approval ready credit profile. But on the for-profit side, which is She Means Consulting, it's about leveling up and elevating your wealth to the, next level. And that's through real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. What you said there just like resonated with me so much, because if you have an individual who is in a state of poverty or struggling,
Yes,
the one single thing that the single best thing, in my opinion, that they can do for their family or self is not get the third job,
yeah,
not work 90 hours a week, but actually focus on improving their credit. Because that then will open up the opportunities where they don't have to have 3 jobs. They don't have to work 90 hours a week. And it's going to propel them faster and better than if they did go the other route and keep all those jobs. Or even if, they're in that situation and they can't be employed because they're a single mom who has children, maybe with disabilities or whatever that might be. I think that, and I think you said this, if we can understand credit, it opens up opportunities that we otherwise could not have. So if I were in that situation personally, I think I would throw every dollar I had to improve my credit situation, because there are hard money lenders out there. There are different opportunities that can present themselves if you have good credit.
If you have good credit. Yeah. And then those avenues, which, is basically OPM, other people's money, and it's available for you as long as you have a strong credit profile. And that's really what it's all about, because, credit opens up doors that money can't, so it's not about necessarily making the 6-figure salary. If you don't have the credit score to go with it, what can you do beyond that? And that's where I feel a lot of women are stuck. So I know that's really a niche that's untapped. And so for the most part, that's where all of this came from. It really is. From experience, when we built our second investment property, we did use traditional funding, and we went over, the project budget. But, you live and you learn, and we had to, leverage our personal credit. And that was a mistake that we made, because at that point we should have OPM'd, so we learned from that. So now we know, moving forward, that we're going to be well positioned to not make that mistake again. And hey, I sold the house, we profited, we still made it. God is still good, but it's still a lesson learned. And I just don't want any other, woman to, feel that way. When it comes to investing in real estate, I just want them to do it the right way in OPM, because the money is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Donna, you're in our group coaching call that we do every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. and Eastern time. So those of you who are watching, if you want to join in that, we'd love to have you there. But you have a really cool way that you service your clients as well that I think impressed everybody in the group. And they're like taking notes vigorously. I think our audience would probably enjoy hearing, like, what happens when someone becomes a client and goes through your process? What's something special you end up doing for them?
Okay, so when my clients join, it's called the Financial Transformation Academy, where I walk you through its 11 pillars of your success path, where you start off, if your credit is not where it needs to be, and we need to get you there, you just progress through the process, through the course, you watch all the modules, and while you are rebuilding and learning more about credit, also real estate, if you want to start a business, I have some information in there as well. If you are a first-time home buyer, I have information there as well. Several free resources, ebooks about student loans, all kind of, things, passive income, just you name it. It's just a vault of information. So if you were a client that needed repair services, I would be assisting you with that while you would be rebuilding your credit. But we know that we all like nice things. And so before all of that begins, what I do is send, my clients a special, welcome box. It's called the Transform Box. It aligns with the Financial Transformation Academy. And it's just a box of goodies, just to know that you can do this. It comes with a t-shirt. I actually have it on now. Women need good credit.
Stand up for a second. Let's see it.
So it's Women Need Good Credit Too.
I love it.
And that's actually the name of my DIY course. And so you get a t-shirt. You also get the Women Need Good Credit Too planner, which is for sale on Amazon. And then you get a few self-care products. And I try to change it up, every month. So they're not getting the same products, but it's always good to receive something, and so that's what I send them. As soon as they become, a client, they get the box mailed to their front door.
I love it, because then they feel like, hey, Donna, you really care about me, which you do. And that's why you do it, is you really care about your clients. But then, sometimes I think for a lot of people that are entrepreneurs and they have their business, they care a lot about their clients. That's why they got into the business that they got into. But they're not putting processes in place in their business to really show their client that they care. Yeah. It's a whole different level of being an entrepreneur, right? Is having this business say, hey, I have a passion to do this. I want to help you. But then not just showing it in the services that you provide, but what's that little extra something you can give, you know? Yeah. Dustin Ball, who hopefully will watch this video, he sends out a crumble cookie to his clients, and it's just something to say, hey, I care about you. I was thinking about you. And I just think it's a wonderful thing to do. But everyone was vigorously taking notes of like, oh my.
Yeah. And you just, get the wholesale products. And, I just think that's just letting the customer know that you really appreciate them. And it provides that additional level of value. So what I try to offer is a high touch premium experience. And as I mentioned, the Financial Transformation Academy it's a lot of modules in there and a lot of information that you don't have to, pretty much go through it in the weekend, because you wouldn't be able to, but you would have lifetime access to it, because at some point, it doesn't matter what your career is. You always take continuing education courses, right? We have to keep our certification. So I like to say this is your continuing education when it comes to credit and when life happens, because life does happen. We're out here adulting. Life happens. It happened to me when I had my son in 2001. I ended up getting sick. And, we had just got married, couldn't pay, a lot of my bills. We just made sure we paid the necessities, to feed, ourselves and have the electricity and the mortgage and all that. And my credit took a hit. My sister referred me to a credit repair company, and Kristen had me in a 700 clubs in 6 months. So I know credit repair works, but life happened to me. And I had just started teaching. Remember that little salary we talked about earlier? I don't need disability insurance. I'm young, I'm healthy, and look what happened. And so when life happens to you, what I don't want people to feel is like, oh, I'm stuck, because it does happen, or I didn't, set enough aside, to retire when I'm eligible to retire. But you can still make money other ways. And the quickest way to generate wealth is through real estate. And so I love it. It's personal for me because I'm doing it to continue my sister's legacy. This is what she really wanted to do. We even named the floor plans after her, in the home. So I just know she's smiling down, and I'm going to continue working hard to make her happy. And I know this is the way to do it.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. And, you also, the journey that you take your clients through, that transformation is a transformation you had to go through as well. So you have seen it on the other side.
Yeah.
Having bad credit, not having the opportunities, and then being able to get that fixed, and you end up with a wonderful credit repair company who could help you do that. And then you're learning all these lessons, some hard lessons to learn. Yeah. Which is what makes us better as we build out our processes to help other people. And I just love your mission. I love your mission. I love that you came from the other side and you're here, and now you're like, hey, I want to help other people, and I want to, continue my sister's legacy. I just love you so much. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to end with a couple of things. Number one, before I do the last question, I did want to ask you, I have a feeling that there are going to be people in our audience that are going to want to reach out to you. Some maybe for advice, some for help on their journey through wealth and real estate. And I think some just because they see a beautiful spirit in you and they just want to have some kind of connection with you. So would it be fair that they could get a hold of you? And if that is true, how might they do that?
Yeah, so she means consulting.com. They can contact me there. Just DM me. It's on Instagram at Dr. Donna Prudhomme. And that's Prudhomme with 2 M's. And just send me a message and I'll definitely, get back in contact with you. Yes, because we're better together.
Yes, it is. It is. All right. Last question. Obviously, I know you're in our group coaching, which we love having you there, but you are also a user of Level Up Score. So
Mhm.
can you talk maybe how that might help you in helping your clients through this journey?
Yes, I would love to do that. So listen, when you know it's your purpose, God just aligns everything for you. I found you watching Daniel Rosen's, he interviewed you for I think your millionaire,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, your millionaire interview. And I just, I'll be at work and I'll just be listening to different interviews. And I was like, wait a minute, let me listen a little closer. And especially, I think you said you were from Texas and you were a teacher. And I'm like, okay, that resonates with me. And then when I went to Level Up Score, when you talked about the credit plan, the credit action plan, and I went there and I'm like, this is so powerful because I felt like it just added the finishing touch to what I was doing. So not only are we talking about repairing and rebuilding your credit, because that goes hand in hand. We're talking about real estate, whether you want to start a business or, buy your first home. It all ends with the fact that, or begins with the fact that you have to have a decent credit score. But how are you going to get there? And so that was the missing piece for me. It was like, oh my gosh, I still work a full-time job. How am I going to do all the things? And then here's your interview with Level Up Score and then the actual plan. And you had your, I think it was just the introduction courses where you walked everyone through the plan. So we actually saw what we would be getting. And I signed up like no brainer immediately, even plugged myself in, plugged my daughter, my son in. Let's see what we working with. And so it was just a finishing touch. And I'm so grateful to have, met you because you have just been, listen, most millionaires don't talk to just, anyone, but you are always available by email, and the group coaching calls are just a blessing because you allow everyone on that call to have a say. And then you always provide insight of what they can do better. And that plan just adds the finishing touch. It actually gives them something to say, okay, this is what I need to do. You give the steps and you also hold them accountable because if you don't do what you were actually, told to do based off of your credit situation, that's on you. It's not on the person who's working with you because this is a partnership. It's 50-50. So I just think you have a genius product and I'm just glad that I found you and Level Up Score because it's definitely going to help the women who I work with take care of the actions that are assigned to them, whether they want to buy their first home. Like you said, whether you want to start a business, you added that, because you just want good credit. But what is the reason why you want, great credit? So at the end of the day, it's just a plan that we all need to have. And also the part where you can add the resources where they can actually, you don't have to go online and Google and try to figure out what do I do. Your plan allows us to provide that to our clients. So it's a all-in-one package. And I think it's just perfect for my business.
Well, thank you for that. And I do think God brings us to the right people at the right time. And I believe you were supposed to come to me and I enjoyed our friendship and I love your spirit and I love everything you're doing. So I'm like your cheerleader. So just know that.
Yes, you are. Yes.
But
Cheerleader and coach, because you'll be like, well, have you tried this? Well, what about this? I'm like, okay.
well, little
Okay.
accountability, little thoughts. Yes.
Yes, yes. But I appreciate it. I
You're
definitely
doing
do.
some beautiful things and you're much needed. And so if you're a woman that's a high achiever, I'm telling you, you need to stop for a moment, contact Donna, reach out to her, because I think she has a journey for you that can be a blessing to you. So Donna, thank you for being here. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and to be a part of your coaching plan. We're friends for life.
We are.
Yes, yes.
I'll see you later.